Yeah, so what I mean is that is executive presence
Yeah.
important in creating success, whether you are in public sector, government,
Mm.
or in corporates?
Yes, absolutely. I believe so. I believe so. Based on my research and based on global surveys that had been done, one survey showed that I think 268 executives were uh, asked, and basically they found that executive presence contributes. It's 26% of a promotion decision. It's based on one's executive presence. Another survey had I think 89% of a sample of 400 chief executives or corporate executives and chief executives saying that executive presence can help people get ahead. And 78% said that limited presence can actually hold someone back. So I think it's incredibly important, and again, it just depends on how do you define executive presence? Like, what is that?
Yeah.
It's not the same as charisma. It is not the same as personal magnetism. Those are certainly,
Sure.
Good aspects of it. It's also not just speaking well and again, having confidence. There's so much more to it. And I think, even emotional intelligence, demonstrating emotional intelligence are part of executive presence. So yeah, I think it's absolutely a big part of success, especially as you take on more and more leadership responsibilities.
So if you had to define it in few words, that this is what is executive presence, what would it be?
I would say executive presence is it's sort of a combination of certain traits, skills, behaviors, judgment, temperament that all add up to a positive influence and a positive impact on the people around us. Now, you can have a dark executive presence, certainly, where you have executive presence, but you're intimidating, you're dark, right?
Right.
You are manipulative, you're a demagogue, right? You appeal to the most base emotions in people and get them fired up. But that's not the kind of executive presence I teach or I coach, So I would say I would teach an ethical executive presence.
So if you had to name few popular maybe figures who we can relate to in terms of such a presence, can you cite some examples which would help us relate to?
Yeah, and I think sometimes I ask my people in my workshops, what does executive presence mean to you? Think of someone that you think has it, and right, what are those qualities? So it's very easy for people to pick someone and say, this person has executive presence, and here's why. So they pick one or two qualities, But a couple of people, Indra Nooyi from PepsiCo had, to me, tremendous executive presence, a quiet power, the ability to communicate, courage, incredible courage, speaking truth to power. Satya Nadella has incredible executive presence to me. So there are so many people that, and the thing to remember is that executive presence is not fixed. We all have an executive presence profile, right? We're stronger in some areas and perhaps not so strong in others. So the key is to find out where you're not very strong.
Sure.
And then shore up those areas or uncover blind spots and mitigate maybe any weaknesses. And then also seeing how can you leverage your strengths, perhaps build on those. Right?
Sure.
But yeah, so it's, again, it's not 100% thing, right? You might...
Sure. It's always work in progress.
Contextual too. Work in progress, and it's contextual too. You might have executive presence in one situation, but then lose it in another when maybe there's a higher status individual or somebody in a higher level leadership position. All of a sudden you might get intimidated, and so your executive presence is out the window. So, these are things important to remember. Yeah.